Oh, guys. Excuse me if I sniffle. I just got in the house. And, I've been talking to you all for a minute. And I jumped back on here really quick. I was upset. I had to shed some tears a few minutes ago. It is April the 13th, 2023, and there is no moon in the sky again tonight. I can't tell you when and why the moon comes and goes. I know that there is a, polar shift in the changes in what's going on and what is said biblically, but I haven't tracked the moon's cycles since, the first time I seen it disappear, and then the second time I seen it disappear. Yes, I'm at it again. I was a little upset, Sergio. I was gonna show you guys, but I didn't want to be outside that long because the moon is not in the sky. Oh, thank you. It's a scary thing to realize that we say that there are people that are not people. We as targeted individuals know that there are empty vessels. Like I said, background people. Your background people. Y'all, I had to shed some tears. I was driving home, first of all. And I said, I need to stop at one more store. And I noticed how eerily dark it was outside. And I said, I know the moon is not gone again. And I'm driving, trying to look out the windows at all sides, and the moon was not in the sky. So I pulled into the parking lot of the store. And so I got out and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna, look. I looked all around like I've done before. And the moon was not in the doggone sky. I am like, why is it for targeted individuals and for people that are seeing different changes in the world as far as what is happening in the sky, what's happening in the clouds? Why are we so scattered, far apart from each other, right? Why is it, I don't know of two targeted individuals that are in the same location, that are true, and I mean true targeted individuals. I just don't know of any that are in the same location. But why is that? I went in the store and I said, I'm going to ask somebody in the store. But the one guy passed me, he was on his phone. Then an older guy, he just looked like he just wanted to flirt. I didn't even bother to ask him, did he see the moon when he walked into the store. So I went to check out. And you know how you recognize a cashier to wherever you go, whenever you go. You don't go to the same stores all the time, but y'all, I seen the cashier and I spoke to him. And I said, hey, have you been on a break? Have you been outside tonight? And he was like, oh, not yet. I would probably go outside. I said, well, when you go out there, look up and see. And I know this sounds crazy to people. Oh my, oh my goodness. The guy says, okay, that's strange. The moon's not in the sky. I said, no. So I'm going to show you how dark it is. I'm not going to go back outside, but I'm going to show you how dark it is just from looking at the window. Look how dark it is. Guys, it's here. This is a light on. That's the window blinds open. That's over there. You see here. Hold on, I'm gonna, because I got a glare from that light. Hold on, guys. I have to let me turn off some lights so that you can see. It is so freaking dark outside because there's no moon. The moon gives off its light. Okay. Look at this. I mean, it's eerily dark. I mean, look at that. Look how freaking dark. I mean, look at that. Look how freaking dark it is. It is. Because there's no moon in the sky. Look out this window. Because there's no moon in the sky. Look out this window. You see how dark it is? So I'm gonna go over here to this window. I'm gonna turn this around to the street. Can you see out in the street? That's the light from my side of my house. There's no moon. And I'm not going outside because last time, I'm telling you, something was out there. That's why I came. I was like, there's no moon. It is like totally dark and only lights are from the houses that are out there. And then it feels like being tossed back into a different timeline. I mean, look, that is a blind open and it's just dark, guys. Anyway, I'm gonna tell you guys why I actually had to shed some tears because I'm in line and I'm telling the young cashier guy about how there's no moon out in the sky, and he's saying, "Oh wow, that's like I know it sounds crazy if you don't pay attention. That's like, do you only pay attention to your surroundings on the ground, on the earth? Do you not look up every now? I guess that's why they made that movie Look Up. People literally don't look up. And he was like, that's weird. Okay, well, when I take a break, I'm gonna have to go out there in a little bit. I'll look up and see. And I said, oh, okay. And so as I'm talking, there's a couple behind me getting ready to check out. It's, I think they were Spanish or something. So I asked the lady, I said, when you came in, did you happen to see the moon in the sky? And I don't know if she couldn't speak English or she just played like she couldn't because she didn't want to talk or whatever. And she was like, And then I said it again, and then she said, she had like a curious look, like, no. And when she kept doing all that, I was like, okay, whatever. Let me just get my stuff and go. And so I got my bags and I walked out the store, and it was a young guy, a little young cutie patootie coming out the store, and he was on his phone. And I asked him, I said, sir, and he was talking. I had to interrupt his conversation because I just wanted to see, did he notice there's no moon? And I said, excuse me, sir. I said, do you see that there's no moon in the sky? He didn't even look up, y'all. He didn't even look up. He was like, he's like, do you see some stars? Because I guess right in his, not peripherals, but straight straight ahead of him, he saw a star. He said, "Do you see some stars?" And I looked where he was walking. I said, "Yeah, I see a couple of stars." I said, "But there's no moon." He says, "But there's stars in the sky," and winked at me and kept walking. I just did a little laugh, and that shocked the daylights out of me, because oblivious, totally oblivious to. And so I said, well, I got closer to the car. I'm like, well, let me look around again. There is no freaking moon in the sky tonight. I got in the car and had to bust a tear. I had to cry. I'm like, oh my goodness. There are people literally coming and going and don't know the changes in the atmosphere around them, in the world around them, that there's never been a point in time where the moon was not there. And people used to, the moon, not a star that's billions and billions of light years away, but the moon that is the closest source of light aside from the sun that you see all the time. It's on a regular cycle. It affects the oceans. It affects the tides. It affects rhythms in the world and on your planet. Do they not even teach that in school? That the sun affects what happens, the growth of plants and veg. If the sun just disappeared, would you not say something? I cannot understand how these people are just like, oh yeah, don't even care if the moon's not there. Do they not realize when the moon is not when the moon is not there, how that affects the ocean? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I literally had to sit in the car and cry. I had to bust some tears. Not for me. Not that I cried, not that I even, like when I got emotional in the car. That emotion truly is not for me. That emotion is because people actually, they maybe are empty. They are existing. They are truly the background players. And or they might be so asleep and they are going to get caught up in the wave. They are going to be the people, like the Bible said, that they will be laughing. They will be, marrying and giving away one another in marriage. And when Yahushua comes back, it's going to be like a thief in the night. Nobody is even going to know. And these people are going to be caught off guard because they will not even have known the signs to even try to get their life right, get their soul right. Not even if it's their life, their everlasting soul right. They are going to be on their cell phones, never ever looking up to. It's like I'm giving you clues, just like the Illuminati gives you clues. Stop, dog. Just like the oh, that's my coat. Just like the Illuminati gives you clues in their movies. You know, the Most High gave you clues, and whatever these people put, you know, whatever the scripts that they put together to make the Bible, what they chose to put and canonize the Bible and say that's the full Bible. I'm just saying some of those clues are there. I don't want to, if I think about it, I will cry again, because I literally feel like I am on a I feel like, did I jump timelines like people have said, or am I on a different planet, a different world, and I know. Oh my goodness. That emotion is for people that will not even be aware of what truly is going on. Exactly. art. And so it is like people are in a trance, oblivious to what's going on around them. And it's like, where are other people like me? Not saying that I'm like a perfect person or anything like that, but people that are, I often think Yahushua had like 12 disciples, you know, other people that were part of his walk when he was here. Why is it that targeted individuals, chosen people, targeted individual, why are we so scared? It's in it. And then if you try to tell people, or people are that you assume are people, because I'm telling you, things are not what they seem. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why we're so scared. And the thing is, it's not about me needing people around me, because I'm pretty much cool with being, I can deal with being by myself. I really can. It's just the fact that I have, like tonight, trying to get people to realize that there's no moon in the sky. The heaviness or the sadness I felt for people, that destruction, that their literal chaos is about to ensue. I'm talking about even before the most. I'm talking about a moon, something that affects your planet, your planet's weather is not there, and you're not aware of that. And some places, like I've seen other places, it comes and goes. One day, and I should upload the video. One day the moon was upside. It wasn't the right crescent. We know the crescents they go this way or this way. The half moon, the crescent was upside down. It feels like a freaky movie or something. So I'm wondering, is it people that are being slowly introduced to the spiritual realm, and I, I don't want to guess at what it is, but guys, I know it's the end time, and these are phases that we're going through. Whether you want to look at it as the poles are shifting, or the end times as it is said in the scriptures, and how the earth is being affected by what it said, what disappearing and come and go, just like I think next year is we already had a eclipse, that the way the eclipse angled the United States, it crossed a line through its path, right? So I believe it's next year. It'll be another eclipse that will angle another path, and it literally from the past puts an X on the United States, which indicates the end, the true end, the true fall for the United States. What you're feeling and all that is going on is from that first eclipse that happened, that put the first initial shadow, the line of its path crossing The next one will be next year, which will be the true fall. And if people can't see, oh, I don't know, guys. It trips me out because it feels like I'm telling you this now. I kind of feel like when I try to tell people that I could see entities in people's eyes, and I got that look like I was like, what? Like, that doesn't make sense. Are you crazy? And that's what I feel like now. Like it's a whole different level. It makes me like when this might sound strange because some people would run from wanting to see or being able to see demonic spirits in whatever shape they came in people's eyes. Like I've seen the eyes go totally black, um, the reptilians and all of that. Even recently, but it doesn't scare me. I was shocked, like I told you guys at first, but now it doesn't scare me. And maybe like earlier today, I was passionate about talking about howdy. I was passionate talking about people that may have demonic spirits in them and still be able to ask for basically help, right? Um, Sometimes, and I don't know if what the plan is that the Most High has for me to allow me to see those entities and people. But I can tell you this. The first few of them that I seen, they were totally like evil, like wanted to attack at first these other entities. But there were some people that I seen. Matter of fact, it was a client that I had. The owner of a company. You see, sometimes these entities will allow you. I don't know if they know that you can see them. They will show themselves. Um, I just there was a client, the owner of a company. We had a meeting, and I had just taken on that account, and at the end of the meeting, because I had the big bosses with me at the time, and they went up to shake hands, and I did not know the etiquette, who at the time was supposed to go up and shake hands first, or I just assumed because we had the president of the company at the time go, so I knew of course him, but I thought it was like the males because they were I had the president and the vice president in the room, and it was the head of another company and me, and I was handling that account. I know this is going to sound so strange. Not only I can feel like people's moods and it's just too much to even try to explain, but during that meeting, sometimes when you're with heads of companies, especially if it's dealing with corporate, sometimes people try to downplay you if you're beneath them. That's why I meant, it's a certain etiquette within any organization, right? But sometimes even you knowing the etiquette of the organization, even some people just, if they're above you, they still have to like keep you or put you in your place, so to speak. But this client would ask questions in the meeting. I was the executive over his account, so I was expected to answer questions, and I, trust me, was prepared for that meeting. But my president and my vice president would speak over me at the meeting. I don't say that that they were trying to put me in my place. I think they were trying to save me until I got adjusted. I'll say that. Um, but they were trying to answer the question in the meeting, and the owner of the company was sitting at the head of the table. I remember it was like one of those long tables. My bosses were on one side, I was on the side by myself, and then the owner of the company was down at the head of the table. And he was like, no, what? I want to hear from Nicole. And you could almost see the fear on their faces. My bosses, the president and the vice president. Because this was the first time that the owner met with me, and I got to speak to him face to face. And so, I talked to him and everything. And so the meeting was over. And so they went up and they were shaking his hand, and all this and that. And I was standing still, at my after I pushed the chair in, and then they finished, and he looked at me, and so my bosses kind of looked at me like, like, go shake his hand, or I just did not want to overstep my bounds, right? It's hard for anybody to understand if you've never been in corporate, if you've never been the only chocolate drop, dark skin, not no, and this is not to be funny about any light-skinned women, but most of them have been hired in corporate situations. So being the only dark-skinned woman amongst all white men, right? I didn't know. Let me turn on some lights because it's kind of dark. Turn some more lights on. I was like, okay. So I went over. I went over and I shook his hand. I went over and I shook the owner's hand, and I always, I always look people in their eyes. That's just been a given. So I shook his hand, and I looked him in his eyes. When I looked him in his eyes, I seen the spirit. I seen the spirit. Most people would classify them as a reptilian. That's the spirit that he had on him or in him But he looked me in my eyes, and I looked him in his eyes. And it wasn't the same look that I've gotten from different entities. And I want to tell you, and I'm telling you this story for a reason. I didn't jump because by that time I had seen quite a few in different people. So it didn't startle me. But they have to, they showed themselves. It didn't startle me. And I got the account and I held that account, and it was never, I won't even go into that. I won't go into that just yet. And then recently, at one of my bank I bank at, I had to go into the bank. And when I went to the bank, sometimes you see people there at the front door. I think they work with, new accounts, and so they're at the front door and they greet people when they come in. And so there was the Spanish lady. She was at the front door when I came in to the bank. And just came directly up to me. She said, "Yes, can I help you?" Really, really kind and sweet. And I was like, "Oh, I'm going in the bank. I need to take care of some business." But as she's speaking to me, I see the spirit in her eyes. And I know she knows that I've seen it. I see the spirit in her eyes. Her eyes were slit too, like a reptilian eye. Like, lizard, the eyes, the slits, their pupils go up and down instead of round like our pupils. So I seen that spirit, and I was like, and they are, either the Most High has to take that veil off of your eyes, or you have to, no, it has to be the Most High to open you up to the spiritual realm like that. Because, and don't get it twisted, I've literally seen like the glow of angels, like on people too, in their eyes. And so I seen these two people, and these two people, and they may be pure, fully demonic, but their presence was different than the other people that were other entities that I witnessed. It was a different type of presence, but they still had that spirit, or their eyes had that, or they revealed that, or I just was able to see it. And so I tell you these two stories about the two people that had these entities. And I tell you, I don't know why, or what my full purpose is. I know it's not to have a label or be a part of something. It's something greater. But after seeing and witnessing the different spiritual aspects of this life, I often help them. I would often want to snatch that demon smooth out of those people, because because it's almost as if they wanted help, and it's as if they seen something within me. I don't know, but it's as if they wanted help. I know that sounds strange, but I literally wanted to fight those demons. I wanted to help those people um, uh, get free. Those are the only two people that I seen that spirit on them, in them. Not on them. I seen it through their eyes. But then their presence of being was different as well. So that's why I know from experience, not just from, I know from experience that there are people here that need deliverance. And they will present themselves differently. And so that's one of the reasons why I don't know why I have a deep empathy for people in the world. Um, but that is one thing. If that is what the Most High's plan for me is, to help people with deliverance, true. I mean, true, real deliverance. I tell you, that's what I would want to do, because people just do not realize how real this is. And seeing the different levels of these entities and people, it's almost as if I know the people that may have demon possession and not fully possessed, but the demon is in their vessel, that they want help, and they are captives. And sometimes, although you have the gift and the dominion of this planet, sometimes people need assistance because they are not, or they might not be as strong as other people. So I say, yeah, I wanted to snatch the demons smooth up out of those people. But I have also read the Bible, and I know that demons, and I know for a fact that they're not to be played with because they have supernatural powers. So I isolate myself a lot until I'm ready to go out, and that is part of what I'm here to do. Be ready to do that. I'm not talking about no dog and pony show that you may see on any TBN church channels, you know. I'm talking about snatching real demons out of people. Because see, once you realize, like I realized when I tell you guys I was running from demons, you have to let go of any door or any vice that you have in your life, before the demons will truly leave, because they're gonna fight tooth and nail to hold on to you. There's many aspects, and people just say demons. There are many aspects to that, and I'm going to read your comments. People who I don't like people who act holier than thou, because if there was not still the spirit of the Most High in people when Yahweh Shai walked on this earth, he would not have delivered people that had demons within them. Because a spirit, whether it be demonic or whether it be the Most High Spirit that he breathed into us to have the breath of life, once that exited your body, your vessel, the vessel is null and void. It is no longer functioning. So if Yahweh Shai delivered demons out of multiple people when he walked this earth, once that demon left that vessel, the vessel would have been vacant. The vessel would have dropped to the ground, because there would not have been a spirit in there to operate that vessel. So that further should let you know that the Spirit of the Most High was still in those individuals, for they were captive. For a demon had them captive in their own vessel. That is why you hear when Yahweh Shai sets you free, you are free indeed. But you have to not open those doors and return to those vices, especially if you are captive in your own vessel. That means stay away from things that may have caused you to become captive, because you are fighting a spirit that wants to enjoy being able to eat, touch, feel, sleep. So I say that I keep myself isolated, because I know that I had open doors. Not that I did any hard drugs or different things, but just in life general. And I know that anyone who has a true gift from the Most High God, they are going to be fighting demons. And these people that are fighting demons, that may be oppressed by these demons, that these demons may reside in their vessels, are high-ranking people, that the Most High God has something special for them. But they have to truly stand their ground and not continue to return to whatever they did to open that door. Because if they do, the demon will just have a stronger hold on them. But a lot of people who have a higher calling in their life will be fighting demons, but they won't let you know, or they'll be afraid to let you know, or they'll be ashamed to let you know. But I think in this day and time, people should step up to their calling in life. So that's why I say, I want to snatch those demons out. Let's move out of those people. To help them. I think the scariest thing for people will be when these entities reveal themselves. Heck, when true angels reveal themselves. That will be a scary sight as well. It's just the fact that you will have to know and be able to discern if it's an entity, a demonic entity, or if it's angelic entity. Because they're not all going to come down here with big fuzzy white wings. Perfect. Not unless they transform themselves in that light. But know this, those spirits know how to transform themselves in that light as well. Yep, reptilians. The Most High God wants you to see these things. It can be overwhelming. It's a message for you. I've seen crazy stuff. I tried to expose what I've seen, and it always backfires. You blessed. Thank you. Thank you so much, Daily. I tell you, at the time, it doesn't feel like a blessing. It really doesn't. But one thing I never in life, I couldn't stand a bully. I can't stand bullies, and I think that's one of the highest forms of being bullied, especially an entity that occupies someone's vessel. And obviously, if those people haven't become retrobates, there's still hope for them, and they will need help. And it's just like Moses. There was a time where he was praying for the people of Israel, and he had to pray with his arms up. And every time he lowered his arms, the blessings would diminish, right? And so, but when he raised his arms, the Most High God was blessing, and I can't remember the full story. I'm just giving you the for instance. The blessings would continue. And so, but he had, he's holding his staff in his arms. Hold your arms up for any length of time, right? He's holding his staff and his arms up. They're lowering until Aaron and another, I can't remember the other person, who came along the side of him and helped him to hold his arms up so that the blessings continue and the deliverance or whatever was taking place at that time can be fulfilled. And sometimes people, even if you have a gift, even if the Most High is working with you, people, they get weak, they get tired, and they need assistance. So that's why I don't like hearing people say, well, if you got an entity in you, you can't have the spirit of the Most High, because that is not true. These people can have deliverance. They can be delivered from that entity. And the most of the time, if Satan or an entity, even if you did something, open a door, if that entity is fighting that person that hard, that person has a calling on their life, and these entities want to stop that calling. Okay? That's what they want to do. They want to stop that calling. So if you have people walking around here, women all snooty, thinking that they're all, holier than thou, and oh my God, or men who say things like that, if the devil's not fighting you, you must be on the other side. Because at this late stage in the game, this is a battle that you're seeing. Some of this battle come from the second, third heavens down to the first heaven, your skies. You're seeing this battle take place in living color. Some of you guys are witnessing these sounds and booms in the sky. So there's people here that are gearing up. I hate to say superpowers. You hear people say, you're going to get your superpowers. You're going to get, and they get that from the scriptures. Because you're going to get a new body. There are people here, fighting these demons. They know that you are going to have great powers to stomp and crush the head of these serpents. Not that, oh my gosh, oh goodness, there's no hope for these people. There's only no hope if they blaspheme or if they come against and the Most High has turned them over to a reprobate mind, and then there's no coming back unless the Most High, like I said, will deliver them from that. But if you're here, Peter helped deliver entities. But even the disciples had trouble when they first were getting the confidence to understand, to work in the power that the Most High gave them to deliver entities, because they couldn't do it at first. So I don't know. I don't know why. Mm, it's strange. It's strange, and people, I just say, this is truly not a competition at this point in time. This is, in my eyes, we are in a time where you need to let as many people know our what time it is. We're in a time where it's about trying to save as many souls that can be saved. Deliverance, true deliverance of people. I can't understand how people can sit, some people that claim to be awake know that what they show you in these movies or what they know, what they've done, and what they've seen and what they've been working with. I've always said your presidents and principalities, they work with entities. So when you hear about those possession movies, those like, this is a true story about whatever, these people have seen these things. They have worked with these things. They just are letting you know, slowly but surely, oh, there's spaceships. And there's different things, coming down. And they want to confuse you. So you don't know who to fight and who not to fight. But they know wickedness is amongst us, and it's real. It's real. And it's not just the wind that you hear, the spirits that are, what do they call it, disemboweled spirits that have no body. There are entities that have body that literally can shapeshift. They're here. I don't know what post this was. I think it was on TikTok. And a young lady was talking about comedians. And she was saying how comedians are basically, well, before we're here now going towards the end times, but comedians were the only really group of people, how they had a hold on media, period. What was said was very much written and scripted, but the comedians were the only true group of people who could say something that was factual, but they would say it in a joke and people would laugh at it because it sounds so outrageous that when somebody would tell them or have a conversation with somebody about something that the person may have heard, from a comedian or in a joke, that they wouldn't believe them. So they didn't care if comedians would tell a joke, They wouldn't care. I'm talking about the people who run the world. They wouldn't care because nobody would believe them after a comedian said it. Just like you don't believe, or not you all, but most people don't believe what they've shown you in the movies. Men in Black was awesome. That was a great movie. I'm talking about the first one with Will Smith, and how they took you to that underground, their office, their base, and all of those different life forms of aliens. They call them. They call them aliens, right? Anything from outer space we know is extraterrestrial. They were showing you right then and there. But their entities are demonic that they have been working with. That all the gadgets that they were showing you in that movie, different stuff, they were laughing in your face, in my face. And soon all of this stuff is slowly unrolling. Oh yeah, there are spaceships in the sky. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep. Let me see what you're saying. I end up isolating for real, for real. It's so tough. It's not like you can talk about it with anybody. Real targets are targeted for a reason. Yep. It's a lonely walk. Yeah, let me tell you, they say that it's lonely at the top. No, um, I don't want to second that about it's a lonely walk, because it's you're alone in your walk. I want to reword that. You're alone in your walk. But for me, I'm not lonely, because I'll laugh in this house knowing there's probably cameras around. I tell them to wash the dishes sometimes, or something crazy, you know. But I'm not lonely, you know. You can be with a husband, a spouse, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, and be lonely. And the person can be right beside you, upstairs, downstairs, and you truly, because I experienced that, you can truly be lonely and somebody's in the house with you. But fulfillment in yourself, when you start to realize who you are and start to really care and honor who you are, it fills you up. You don't need anybody else to fill you up, right? Just you become more in tune, more in the walk with the Most High. So you may be alone, but loneliness, I think that's a different. But it's like they say, it's lonely at the top. Your target is truly for a reason. Comedians are court gestures of yesteryears. Yes, exactly. You know, that's LOL. They would die if they didn't make the king laugh. Nice, good call out. You know, what you said about comedians are court jesters of yesteryear. I want to say yes, and that's so ironic that you say that, because comedians, you know, we know them as entertainers as well, and they have seen certain things in those arenas that they run in the elite arenas, right? They've been to certain parties, right? And they've seen certain things, so they've been around the king. And so when you've been around the king, or you've been in certain atmospheres, right, you can say certain things and the king will laugh, because it'll be an inside joke. You know, they know what you're talking about, and he'll laugh, but the rest of the audience in the court will kind of laugh, thinking it's just so outrageous. Oh my gosh, pandas. Pandas, look, I mean, these children, they look like little pandas. Don't they look like panda bears? Oh my God, it's so outrageous. Why are they walking around with dotted eyes? And I'm about to tell y'all something. Why are they walking around with their eyes blacked out looking like pandas? And the king is just laughing. Oh, you're right. They do look like pandas. Well, today, while scrolling on social media, I happened to come across a post talking about panda bears in this society today, dealing with entertainers today, dealing with a young man that was he was in Nickelodeon, a show. Orlando Brown, I can't remember his name. A black guy, Israelite, formerly known as Black. He was in Nickelodeon. He was in all those, some Disney stuff, on TV. And he was talking. Buckle up and hold on tight, because this pissed me off. Not anything regarding him, but he's one of those truth tellers that that has experienced the devil and his ringleaders. And he's telling people things, and it sounds so freaking outrageous that people laugh at him. People laugh at him. So he's talking. As he's talking, the screen is split. He's talking in today's time. They're showing a clip of him on film. And he's talking and he's saying, yeah, well, when you see children with two black eyes, they've been beat up. Now, as he's saying this, the bottom screen is showing him from a Nickelodeon show that he was on, coming on screen with two black eyes. I say it didn't look like makeup at all. They look like legit black eyes. He's talking, and they're showing himself as a child on this show. And he's saying, yeah, well, when you see children with two black eyes, you best believe they got beat up. But they didn't get beat up in the way that you would think that they got beat up. At first, like I say, sometimes I'm naive and I catch on slow. I'm trying to figure out. So I'm intrigued on what is he talking about, because I know he dropped some gems, and I know he's been on both sides. But that's why I say some people will be saved. I mean, there's harlots that's been saved in the Bible, right? So some people think he's an agent, for both sides. But this man is dropping some horror stories, and he knows the truth because he went through this. And so I'm like, panda bears. And so on this video, and I saved it, so I'll drop it too on here. They're talking, and they're showing babies with black eyes. They're showing other children. I mean, their eyes bulging out black, like somebody like literally. And I'm like, oh God, I'm thinking it's Hollywood art, because we know what they do with blood and all of this, drinking and trying to stay youthful and all this. I'm thinking, would they beat up the babies? It's more lascivious than that. I remember hearing Panda. Y'all remember that song, Panda? I can't remember the rapper's name. Panda. I got broads in Atlanta. Panda. I got, I was like, that's a catchy song. And I remember reading somebody saying, I don't play that song anymore. I don't use that song. Take that song down. And that stuck with me, but I didn't know why somebody was so upset about that song. I understand about rap songs and their meaning and hidden symbolism. I understand that, but I did not understand why somebody in a post was so upset about that song until I seen this post today. And with Orlando Brown, if I'm saying his name wrong, somebody, if you know who I'm talking about, please correct me. So they showed Orlando with these black eyes. They showed other babies, other children with these black eyes. They showed talk shows where people had a panda suit on, and then they're running around acting silly, crazy, and the audience is laughing. Us as people who don't know, who are not in the inside, in on the joke, like you said about the king and the gestures, the jester, the one that makes them laugh. So this person has a panda suit on, and then the night show host lifts up the panda head off of the suit of the person, and the audience is like, oh, it's Miley Cyrus, right? One a big time celebrity. I'm still lost to what these people are relaying in this post. And then this panda, they're showing it on a night show. And another, Chris Rock. They lift up the head of the panda. Chris Rock is in this panda suit. Okay? It goes on and on, y'all. Different celebrities they're showing in this panda suit. Different verbiages, different, the inside joke, the coded language that we don't know, but groups and celebrities and gangs use inside coding when they talk to each other. But it's a joke, just like Pizzagate when they're selling children. Y'all, if I got to tell you, one screen had, and I screenshotted it because if you've been with me for a minute, y'all know I wear glasses. I'm 51. Come on now. I couldn't see that little bitty writing. I screenshot the video just so I can pull it close, and read what because some stuff we just can't say on these YouTube internet streets. So people put it in the word. You read it for yourself. You really want to know what's going on. So I screenshot this message that was in the video regarding this panda bear. How can I don't even know how I can say this without. Orlando said the children would get beat up, but not in a way that, not physically like hand beat up. But we're talking about trafficking children. Trafficking in a homosexual way. Male on male way. Do you follow? But in that written statement, the reason for the black eyes, y'all, is that these people, the black eyes came from the blunt force of the sexual abuse. The blunt force. Just if you would, I'm gonna drop the video so you guys can see it. The blunt force of the sexual abuse that these children endured was so severe, it causes their eyes to budge out of their heads, their eye sockets, causing it, after the blunt force and the trauma, causing their eyes to be blackened. And that's what causes the panda bear ring. I don't know how sick and deprived you have to be to do that to children, but you have to be very sick. Children, infants, but they all are children. They all are children. Child trafficking is real, y'all, and it's sick, it's depraved, and these people they're running around and they're making jokes in our face. They're making jokes in our face, and we don't even realize what is going on, but we are in the end times, and things like this are being revealed to us. They are laughing in our face about children that they have hurt. Children that they have hurt. And these children and these people, they brag about how many panda bears they have made and will continue to make. And then the sickest thing is, after they have damaged these children and traumatized these children, and it said that they made them into panda bears, how they would trade these children to other people who want to panda bear these children that have already been through trauma. If that does not make you want to be, I'm telling y'all, y'all ain't seen the wickedness that is yet to be revealed. You haven't seen the demons that have yet to be revealed. If that doesn't stick in you to your stomach, I don't know who you are. I mean, my legs, I can feel me tensing up because, like I said, I wanted to fight these demons. And y'all be like, oh, demons are like a person? No. The spirit. The actual demon that's been walking for over thousands of years, that demon. That's who I want to fight. The door has been open and it's a slippery slope. And these people are going to be lobbying for pedophilia. If you can't see that we are in the end times, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, literally, lobbying. This is not something, this is not natural. They have lost their natural affection, y'all. They have no empathy nor sympathy. They have totally been given over. If they, y'all, let me see. Yep, that is crazy because Panda, laugh out loud, crazy story. That is crazy because they take the everyday things that we see in the world. Who would think that? And pandas are they're a different species. I think, matter of fact, they created that species by slicing. It's not a natural animal to this planet, but nevertheless, it is such a cute bear, and they take natural and innocent things and they pervert them. They pervert it. Not only that, Orlando was saying that your commercials, that on TV or in magazines like Wayfair, when they were selling, I think it was dressers or Kmart, or these are people that have been abducted. These are people who the furniture that they're selling children. It's all in coded language. And I'm going to close with this. And I sit back and I hear these things. And I believe he's telling the truth, because when that man in Washington first broke the story about Pizzagate, no one believed him. No one believed him that they were selling children underneath a pizza shop in Washington, D.C., and you ordered your children by what type of pizza you wanted. Does that not, come on, target individuals. We tell people what we go through and nobody believes it because it sounds so outrageous. It sounds so ludicrous that who would do that? Who would come into your house and move stuff? Who would try to gaslight you like that? Who would do that? It sounds so outrageous that nobody believes you. because nobody has ever heard it before. Nobody has ever seen it before. Oh, they're just talking out the side of their neck. Well, when that man tried to save children, and people sat on that until it just kept, it came a little bit too intense for them to contain. And then all of a sudden, yeah, it's out. Pepperoni pizza boys, cheese pizza girls, ice cream, hot dogs, all of these different languages that we use on a daily basis so that they can code to their sick, perverted members of their group. And it takes us as people so long to even think that that can even happen, because we are in our world, right? Our intelligent world that we philosophize in, and we're so sleep, right? The video, I had a video up about the young black girl that told you guys, I can't remember her name, goodness, that escaped from the sex trafficking. About the underground cities, and how every store has an underground tunnel that's connected to this tunnel, that's connected to churches, that's connected to stores. How they traffic people. How I'm not even going to mention some of the stuff she said because it's gory. And nobody was believing her. And so when I hear stories like that, that's another reason why I want to fight demons, literal demons. You see, because these children have been taken from the borders, from all over. From what is said, children, trafficking women, and melanin is more than the gold and riches that they want in this world. But you'd have, I'm not gonna go on that tangent. I can't. No, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. You have these groups of black men that are distributing information on these streets about wiping out black women, right? Unaliving black women and starting over again. When melanin outweighs gold, they would want gold, a melanin more than they would want gold on this planet. And if that was to happen, let's for instance, that happened. Y'all unalived all the black women, all the black little girls, because y'all are pissed off on how you were raised. But you know, they don't want us to lead. I heard somebody say, well, why y'all didn't lead the black woman out of slavery? Why didn't you lead the black woman out of the projects? But in 2023, you're talking about leading somebody. No, now you got folks talking about unaliving black women because they don't want us to lead. Well, look at your leadership skills, sir. You're talking about unaliving the very source from which you come. Great leadership skills, great leadership skills. You're brilliant. But you're not brilliant enough to even think. If you were to be a part of such a heinous crime, and melanin being the premium commodity that it is, although you don't realize that because you think other commodities are premium, they have you fooled. So you unalive all the black women and all the black little girls, and now you're in your perfect world of just you, with the only melanin to produce. And you have folks that think, well, we can continue to make children. Yes, yes, yes. We can continue to make children because we are the black men. But as you're making children, genocide has always been on the minds of the rulers of this nation. And sustaining life, right? So as you are the only black men to have walked the earth with all of your whoever you choose to lead, but the black woman is definitely, and her little black child is off of this planet, and you are the only black males because you're brilliant. You're walking this world. You're so brilliant. You're making other children that come out just a little bit lighter, or maybe they come out chocolate like me the first round, right? That's a little too chocolate, so we're gonna have to knock that one off. You know how they did in China when they preferred boys over girls? Yeah, brilliant though. You're brilliant with your thinking. How they did in China. They preferred boys over girls. So every time a mother would have a little girl, you know what they did? Huh? Do you know? They killed her. Yeah, brilliant plan. But these brilliant black men that are on some of these forums, and this is the message that is out there. I'm not making this up. I'm putting out the message to unalive black women. So, they did that plan. And y'all, I don't know who the leader of these groups are, but they don't study history in anybody's social or their country. Yeah, so they did that in China. Yeah, it didn't work out too well for them. You black men you're on top. You have your first round of children. That child comes out, you're dominant. Your genes is dominant. Remember, recessive comes from the dominant gene, right? The recessive gene. Dominant genes conquer, right? So your first child may come out just as chocolate as me. Whack it, we need that melanin, right? Oh, yeah, especially if it's a girl. Whack it. Next child comes out. A little lighter. Girl, whack it. Your next child is born. Tan. Oh, we'll keep that child. All the people that are on this planet with you are happy. Oh my gosh, your child, he's so, oh my goodness, he's adorable. Look at him. He's so tan. And I'm not being funny to my light-skinned people. I'm giving you a message here. Oh, that little boy, he's so tan. Oh, your cohorts, the people that are on the planet with you, brothers. They're happy as can be. Yes. Well, we're happy with that child. Oh goodness, we're gonna have a party. You go into the party, you accidentally walk into a conversation of genocide. You the brother, you there. You amongst these people that you wanted to be amongst. This is just a for instance, so don't get offended, whoever you are, white, black, or other, indifferent. I'm giving you, for instance, how these people don't even think things through. They just let stuff roll off the tip of their tongue because it sounds good, and they're pissed off at how the curses have affected our nation. So their brilliant idea is to whack all the women, the so-called black women. That's their brilliant plan. So they walk into a function, a party for his light-skinned son, and he walks into the other men of the planet, not brothers, but other men, and hear a conversation. Well, genocide it seems to be working. Yeah, this is great. Okay, maybe if he has another one, it'll come out even lighter, and then we'll have Bob, you like, you got a daughter? Yeah. Don't, keep your daughter. We like that, you know, porcelain look. Don't let her get the sun too much, because that sun has got hotter since Nubaru came around. It's hot outside. But we're gonna marry your daughter to, we're gonna call him Tanny. We're gonna marry them together. Okay, yeah, that'll be perfect. No Spanish women, because they got a little too much melanin. They might pop off. They might trigger something. But your daughter, Bob, Billy, whichever one you like, okay, we're gonna marry them off. And you're just a proud pop at the ceremony. They christen your son. You go and you get, the children grow up. They get married. Then they're gonna start having them arranged marriages. And into the best families too. Yes, your child is gonna get married into the best family. Matter of fact, when they're gonna give you the best wife for you as well. Because remember, you don't have no more chocolate drops, caramel drop women, nothing of your own nation around with the melanin, because they've used that melanin in anything. They've already used that up, right? So this continues. This cycle continues. They never let, because I'm just gonna assume that since these groups only said kill the black woman, they have still left the Spanish woman here, the Chinese woman here. I'm trying to think who else got melanin. No African women, they gone too. No Caribbean women, they gone too. They got a little too much melanin. No island women, no Jamaican women, all them, they gone. But they only gonna marry and procreate your seed with their seed. There's other ways to genocide a people without killing them. So you fall into the plot of a second round of genocide, you see. Because they're genociding you through whitening down your gene. But they're keeping that melanin to survive with your gene. So once they've repopulated enough, and that gene is stable, but just with a nice little touch of melanin, not too much, but that right touch of melanin, the new peoples of the world. Well, and I know you dark brothers, they like them because they know that melanin is good. So y'all gonna be around. Y'all probably the foot soldiers killing all these black women. Y'all probably the foot soldiers. I can't stand. Oh, we've accomplished our new genocide plan. Do you know what happened in China, right? They almost had the same plan, but their thing was they didn't like girls. Their prime real estate were boy babies, right? What happened in China? Anybody? Let me see if somebody answered that question. Wait a minute, let me see. Orlando Brown, thank you. I didn't even see the designer song. Okay, yeah, I gotta go back to these. Yeah, y'all. Let me see if anybody knows what happened in China. Okay, I'll go back and look at that. Well, let me just say this, because see, I think the people, these men that are promoting this violence against black women, truly are they've just been affected by the curses of our ancestors, and don't want to take accountability for anything other than they've never had any power, right? And they're seeking and wanting that desperately before the time of the transition occurs, the correct transition. Now, what happened in China is they killed the majority of the girls that were born. If they didn't kill them, they, but at this time they were killing the girls, the baby girls that were born to a parent. And then on top of that, there was a one-child rule. So imagine there's a rule, a law, that you can only have one child in China. Because, you know, real estate, living conditions is prime. I mean, it's tight. I mean, they be sleeping in like pods and stuff. One child, because we don't want overpopulation. So there was a one-child law. And then on top of that law, they preferred boys. And I believe they got penalized if they had a girl. So they started killing the baby girls. Well, guess what happened? Anybody? You think they had a problem with procreation? Do you think they had a problem with a lot of hard legs walking around and no women to marry? Do you think that became a problem? Yes. So the boys that they have, you know, put on this pedestal, they almost genocide their own selves. So they started going out to these farmlands and kidnapping farmers' daughters to take as wives, because their own people in their city had killed off all of the girl babies. Brilliant plan, wouldn't you say? Brilliant plan. Well, let's get back to our black men with this plan that is going around social media right now. So there's this group. I don't even know the name because I heard it and I just kept it moving. But I'm just gonna let y'all know. They're mad. You know how they used to say the angry black woman? There was a movie, The Angry Black Woman. It's the mad black man, honey. They're mad. It's a group of them, a whole army. They want to kill all the black women and restart all over, fresh and new, with no black women on the planet. So we've already heard the scenario if that happens, and they've gotten to the point to where they've gotten all the new people that eventually they'll classify as white, like they did white people, because we know that there's no such thing as the race of white. There's only nations. But they'll reclassify all of those new babies that the black man procreated with only, not no chichis, no Spanish, no Asians, because they got a little too much melanin, so they don't want to disrupt this whitening down of your gene pool, my brothers. But they've gotten enough to sustain themselves and start to procreate. But melanin, that fine, that commodity that's precious, that's more than gold, more than its weight in gold, well, all the women are gone. Who do you think they're going to start to look to next for the fix of melanin? Who has a rich supply? That army of soldier men, black soldier men that was left behind. Well, they left themselves behind because they thought they were going to start a new life, a whole new world without the black woman. Well, they're going to need melanin for their spacecrafts to go into so-called outer space. Oh, yeah. Ooh, our cell phones are starting to die. We need melanin. Our computers are not working properly because we put melanin in our computers. Did you know? Well, in their little conference room, I have a brilliant idea. One of their other brothers from another mother would say, we had this soldiers. We had a fleet, an army of melanated soldiers. We no longer need them. And, just an inch of their melanin. So if we kill off 1 or 2 a year, we can still establish and have our computers and TVs and all of our instruments of mass destruction known as our AI work for us by stripping their melanin. But what would happen? What did we learn from China? They're going to keep making intelligence, right? So they're going to keep needing melanin. And nevertheless, how many soldiers that they have, they will soon run out of that resource. You know what that's called? Do you know? That's called being an unsustainable resource. Do you? It's unsustainable. Let me break it down for you, my brothers. That means it can't replenish itself, meaning you've killed the only source that sustained that resource, the black woman, to produce more melanin. You see, that new tribe of children that you helped, produce, that they're going to classify as white. This is just a story time for you. That's not going to be enough melanin to sustain their AI, their ships. Yeah, you're in space. You're all up and through these phones. Oh, they can't sleep at night? Melatonin. Just take a little dose of melatonin. Take a little dose of these black folks. So they have a source of melanin, but it's an unsustainable source of melanin. Because see, you only have the black men here. But trust and believe, with their mindset, and we know this is a consumer mindset, consume, 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 it will not be driven out of them. It will be only the next brilliant idea. So they will consume you black soldier men of all the melanin, because they will think to themselves, maybe we can find a way to get off this planet and source out newer, maybe even finer, a newer species of melanin. That was just a story time for you. And now that you're wiped out and there's a whole new generation of people. So I know that a lot of my brothers think their wand, their, third leg is so very important. But with a master plan and people who have been in power and people who want to stay in power, your wand means nothing to them but a trophy that they can cut off and sit on their mantle like they did in prior years before. So while you round up your soldiers to go and slay all of your black women, your counterparts, because you want a piece of that action known as power, maybe you should sit back and just really think that through. Or maybe you can't, because you really think you're on a team that really has you inclusive to their end goal. You work with that. You work with that. Let me see. Oh, I'm in Orlando, Florida. You pronounced his name correctly. Oh, okay. Thank you. That whole part. They traffic a lot on me. Wait. They trafficking a lot on the internet. Shaking my head. Yeah. And the targeted program, this, whatever this, I don't know, call it program. This is a form of sex trafficking as well. So honey trap you. Shaking my head. Nobody believes you. That's right. They don't believe you. You try to tell them, and it just sounds so outrageous. Who would want to watch you in your home? I mean, are you that important to where people would set up cameras and watch you? Let me tell you something. These hold on for a minute. I don't look at my covers. I left all strolled out. Okay, so that light was getting to my eyes. So these people are bored. Have you ever think about if you had all the money in the world? You've done everything. You've had cloning centers. You've cloned people. You started off cloning animals. You started splicing and dicing. You talk to the aliens, the demonic spirits. You didn't have as much sex as you can have. I mean, you've overindulged in everything you can possibly overindulge in. What is next? You've gone to Africa on your hunting safaris. You killed off almost all the natural wildlife. You have done it all. What does it say? What can you give a rich person as a gift? Really nothing, because they can get anything they want for themselves. What can thrill us? What can make me happy? They're spoiled. Let's just watch people in their homes. Let's torture them. Let's just, it's hard for anybody to comprehend that people would do that. And then if they know, for you see, they know your blood type. They know everybody's blood type, everybody's everything. Your strengths, your weaknesses, your gifts, and what bloodline you truly came from. Yeah, they know. So you target individuals, it's really something about you that it intrigues them, and they must keep an eye on you at all times. And let's watch them in their homes. They will never have any privacy. Who would believe that? Nobody. Just like they don't believe, they haven't believed, they're starting to believe and understand about the crazy, demonic world of sex trafficking children. Drinking and making certain tonics out of the life force of human bodies. Ugh. Hold on. The group sounds like a Fed operation. Who is this? Are you a female or a male? Whoever you are, you say some things that are accurate, to say the least. Let me say this. I just talked about how there's a group of black men who they want to unalive black women to start over again, but have no black women on the planet. And I mean, I can see an agenda from a mile away, and I don't understand for so-called, and let me say so-called, these Israelite men, and not that they know that they're Israelite men, but that's what they are, want to be leaders and can't see an agenda for what it is. How can you? How can you, as a man, want to be a leader and can't see an agenda for what it is? How would you be able to rule a kingdomship or a township, and you can't see the Trojan horse. Maybe you don't, maybe these are just, no, I was going to say unlearned men in these groups. Baby boys, men that have that complex. What is it called? There's a complex. That movie, it was called Baby Boy. And there's an actual complex, an actual disorder when they see themselves as boys. They call their homes cribs. Um, it's a certain word. But what I can't understand, what I can't fathom, is these men being mad at black women because black women have destroyed everything, right? They have destroyed the world, right? Black women, first of all, first and foremost, let me say this. War and violence are not in a woman's nature. I just want to put that out there on the table. War and conquering nations are not necessarily in the woman's nature. Now, have there been women kings and rulers? Yes, by default. But war and conquering is not necessarily in a woman's nature. She's a provider, she's a homemaker, she's a gatherer, hunter-gatherer. Mm-hmm. So, with that being said, these black men that are in these groups, and I don't know the name of the group, and because I wasn't concentrating on the name of the group that they have spread like a cancer on the internet, recruiting other black men to do harm to black women. It's not in our nature. Black woman, Mexican woman, Spanish woman, to start wars and go conquer other nations of people. That's a man's nature. That's deep down in a man. And I want to say this, because you hear stereotypes all the time about black people. And I'm saying black, but we know it's Israel. You hear, white folks is so scared of black people. But all the violence that was bestowed upon black folks during the 400 years, Jim Crow, hangings, lynchings, segregation, was not done by the blacks onto whites. So that's for instance. So when you hear this and you understand those two, for instance, regarding war is not in our nature. Violence of the violence that we also, as black women in our family, because there are memories that are kept in our DNA of the traumas that have happened to our ancestors as women. But yet and still, that is not part of our nature to start wars. But in these men's mind, through the captivity and being trodden down, like the Most High said, we will be trodden down. These men have come to the conclusion, I'm talking about Israel, have come to the conclusion that it's all the black woman's fault. When we haven't started not one war. War have been started over women, of jealousy of men, but we didn't have armies conquering any nations, an army of women. Well, some may say there was an army of, what are those women? They were big, giant women, but we don't even know if those women even existed. What was it? I can't remember their names. Wonder Woman was actually written based on these Amazon women. But yeah, wars and conquering land. I mean, what nation of anywhere in the world, the whole nation is women with their own army, lands, and it's all black women. Let's just say that it's just black women, because that's what this group is saying, that the black women have destroyed the world. I would love to see, where is that? Where is that continent with their rich lands and armies and, you know, resources? Where is that continent? Where does that continent exist at? I believe that continent only exists in the minds of these men that have been downtrodden, but they have nowhere else to go and direct their anger, their frustrations. They don't know how to release what they are feeling, and it's a intense feeling of wanting to blame someone. But they don't want to blame their oppressor, for they want to be like their oppressor. And it can't be any other nation of women, because those other nations of women, that's what they want. But we, as Israel, have to realize, strong, especially strong Israelite men, need to realize there has always been that group of Israel men amongst us. And in some way, I think those men are back on this planet. Yes. Recycled back down here. For you see, there have been many of stories mentioned in the Bible where Israelite men have actually ruined or cursed themselves by, you know, uplifting or desiring so much so the other nation of women, that they have cursed their own selves in camps, caused themselves to go into contracts with other nations that the Most High God said that they should not be going into contracts with, due to the slick and the sly way other nations have dealt with the libido of the nation of the Israelite man. Oh yes. There have been the Moabites that set their daughters and their own wives outside of their own tents before the Israelite men came to their town, because they feared these Israelite men so much so that they couldn't curse them. They couldn't come to any agreements with these mighty, mighty men, right? But they let their wand, their third leg, override their brilliant mind that the Most High God gave to them, and told them, do not make any contract with this nation. But you see these sly Moabites, they're beautiful women. They set their women and their wives, they were desperate, but they knew. And they probably heard rumors, I'm just threw that in there, that you are Israelite men, not all, but a majority of you let your libido override your logic and your thinking. And so you see, Israel came through that camp and saw those beautiful Moabite women dolled up and fresh to death. Funky cold Medina sitting outside those tents. And so they took it upon themselves because the libido that they had somehow miraculously overtook their mind. And so they took the women unto themselves and established a contract with the tribe, with the nation of people that they were forbidden to have a contract with. Oh, it's hilarious how they want to be leaders, but they fail to know anything about history. Those sly Moabites sacrificed their wives and their daughters to trick Israelite men, for they knew they would not use their brain. And boy, they know today these Israelite men that are in these groups, they are not using their brain. And so when you say in this comment, you feel that it's an operation, an ops, well, I have to agree. And I have to concur, because see, these people that have books that you have never seen and know the story that I just told you, well, there's nothing new under the sun. They have to get Israel to curse Israel. And they know Israel men. A majority of them think, I'm just going to say, they're libido. Instead of those, so many brain cells they have, but that libido, it overrides it all the time. And so they come into contracts, agreements, plans, so brilliant and so dumb at the same time. For they weren't brilliant anyway. What plan? To wipe out your own women? No, but they don't think further down the road, do they? You see, y'all have always been tricked, my Israelite brothers. For that comment that came across that said, yeah, probably was an operation. A lot of things are, what was it? Co-op operation, government ops. You have brothers, Israelite brothers, to this day, flashing their flags. You know, if I was part of an illegal, if I had ties with an illegal affiliation, you know, a flag, your little, you know, they call them flags, right? Different colors. Some of them have red, some of them have blue. Households were falling apart a little bit, but not fast enough. Not fast enough. Instead of the Moabites who concocted a plan to incorporate, to trick these Israelite men into a contract and become part of their family, they couldn't break that contract because the Most High God told them they couldn't, but was very furious with these brilliant men that, you know, they're leaders. We have men here that crave and say they want to lead, but they don't even study. They don't even understand how these people move these chips around the board chest. They're moving chips and not chips, because let's check it. They're moving their pawns and their queens and kings and knights around this board, because this is real for them. But my Israelite brothers, It's only real when it comes to laying down and getting as many other nation of women as possible. And they know that of you, you see. And they have planned covert operations from the time of your conception. But you see, they did that with those brothers, you know, the ones that have those flags, the red and the blue. Yeah, it was called the Bloods and the Crips. But my Israelite brothers, you see, your households weren't falling apart quite so fast. So just like they dropped drugs in the boroughs of the Bronx in New York City, crack they called it then, they devised another plot for Los Angeles, Compton. It wasn't your brilliant idea, my brothers, Israel, to gang bang. Did you think that that was all on you? Well, you know how you've heard a lot of Israelite men on certain platforms, and one of their favorites, Kevin Samuels. He loved to bring up statistics that he found that fit his agenda, which I said was a horrible one. But you had so many broken men listening to the rhetoric that spewed from his mouth. He forgot to bring up the fact that there has always been covert operations regarding you Israelite men. Yeah, no, but you see, your brother, rest in peace, Kevin Samuels, he switched the switch on you and blamed your mothers, the ones that halfway had a plan to raise you because they were under the curses too. Their minds were gone too, but we won't go there. Blame your mothers when they already, I'm sure he, as scholarly as he presented himself, knew of the disorder that I mentioned about Baby Boy, the movie. Y'all remember that movie? That told you about a disorder. It wasn't just showing you another aspect of being hood, of a young boy coming through. It gave you a background, it gave you a definition of a trauma that a black male goes through. That's one of the reasons why it was called Baby Boy, the movie. Tyrese played in that movie. Yeah, look it up. But I digress. One of your leaders, Kevin Samuels, I'm sure he knew of this disorder. That clinginess that to their mothers, or the hate for their mothers. For you see, mothers are a strong part in relationships with their children. For you see, you have white men that have become serial killers based on the fact of relationships with their mother. It's really juicy if you really want to get to, nitty gritty of it all. But the trauma and the hurt and the inclusion my Israelite brothers they so desperately have the inclusion that they want, the power of authority that they seek, and not understanding that they're being manipulated, just like they were manipulated by the Moabites to come into a contract that they were not supposed to be in a contract with. A nation that they were not supposed to be in a contract with. But that Lobito got him. You see, Kevin Samuels never mentioned the fact that the CIA concocted a plan. The Bloods and the Crips, that was not just just a brilliant idea. Let me put on red today, and anybody I see with blue on, I'm just going to go fight them. I'm just gonna kill them. I'm just gonna wipe out their family. If they retaliate, you know, because they probably get mad, we'll just keep going and doing that for years to come. And you know, we'll put that cycle, you know, in our own minds. Did Kevin Samuels tell you that the government wanted to destroy your families even more, your communities even more? But and to this day, you have Bloods and Crips. You have grown as men that have that thought process that this corner block is mine. And if you wear a color, come on, y'all, come on. If you wear a color that I don't, that you're not representing my team, we're gonna kill you over a color, over a city block that you don't own. Do you not see that they know what you crave? Ownership, the ownership of a color. Then they probably laugh. They probably still laugh in their you know, man caves with their cigars and brandy. they're still fighting over colors today. I kid you not. They're still fighting over colors to this day. What year is it again? It's 2023. They're still fighting over colors to this day. I mean, they literally, they go and they'll shoot up a whole house full of people. Who thought of this plan? It was brilliant. Oh my God. You are, oh, that saved us so much manpower. Bob, that saved us so much manpower. Did Bob get any more land down there in Tijuana? No, we got to give Bob some more land. I mean, it was just brilliant. They're still killing each other to this day. Are the husbands still in the home? No, they ran out with some of them hoes down the street because we brought drugs into the community. And oh my God. Because they know you want power. They know you want to be able to possess something and say it's yours. And you have nothing because the block does not belong to you and the color belongs to the Most High God. And so what do you have? A hope and a dream. And so now what have they served you up with, you brilliant Israelite men? What have they served you up with? Why can't you see the forest from the trees, I wonder? Why can't you see the forest from the trees? Do you not see all of these trees that are standing in front of you that consist of a forest? And if you go into that forest, oh, how they have set up traps for you. But the brilliant idea, the next brilliant idea, instead of killing each other on blocks, and you know what? They really don't know that a lot of the melanated people are original people here. So let's get the essays to be a gang too. Because, men, they gotta show their, stuff instead of protecting their households and the families and the women and the children that they have and they produce to make their nation strong. Well, they don't have that. We're going to get the essays in on it too. And then, we have different groups. Oh my gosh, Jim, I know your son. your son, he got, I don't know, we sent him out there with the delivery to the crack. He tasted, he thought it was Pop Rocks. I'm sorry, Jim. He became a crackhead. I know we had to put him down there with the lower form of our people. We call them trailer trash. I'm sorry, Jim. We'll make it up to you. But Jim, we have a brilliant plan for your son. We're gonna let him know that he is the leader of the skinheads. Yeah, Jim. Jim's like, what? My son? My son? The leader of what? We're gonna call them the skinheads. And they're gonna be against everybody because, he still has our skin color. Yes. So this plan could not get any better, Jim. How about it? You wanna talk to him? Sure. I'll talk to him right away. Right away. Son, I know you're down here amongst lower rankers, but I want you to get all those lower rankers together. You have power, son, and we're gonna back you. You are a skinhead, a supremacist, and you must rule over these other, what we call them? Oh, gangs. You must rule over these other gangs. And you might want to, go out amongst the lower rankers, get them on board, and you dominate. So now you have all these groups of lost individuals who have nothing, who own nothing, and are just part of the slave crew. But in their minds, they're running something. The only people that are running something are the people who have locked down this system from its inception. That's the people who are running things. But it will be hard pressed for me as a Black woman to get any of this information and to make it make sense, especially now where you see one of the original people of this land have been intercepted in their brain to think. And quiet as it's kept, I guarantee that agenda, and I'm saying it's agenda, did not come from that Black man. It started slow, like a water drop. 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 Drip drop. Drip drop. Your mother, she wasn't home. Your mother kicked your father out. Drip drop. Your mother, she was on food stamps. Drip drop. Your mother, yeah, she put your dad on child support. Drip, 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 drip. It's flooding outside. I'm mad with my mother, and it's all Black women's fault. We have a solution. Hey, Bob, didn't we hire one of them on our team? I mean, he looks like them, but by the skin, but he's not really them in the mind, right? We got one of them on our team, right, Bob? Oh, yes, we do. You want me to call him in the office? Yes, I'd like to talk to him. Your nation of women, now thank you for bringing them to the party. I love to dance and party with them. Woo, woo, yes, thank you. And thank you for, bringing us, some children to munch on. But don't you think they're kind of out of order? Let's put you on center stage. Yeah. we got a new thing going around. It's called the internet. Are you aware of the internet? Yeah. Well, we're going to set you up. Mm-hmm. We just want to, let's show you some stats. Get your men on board. Yeah. Get this ball rolling. But this next move, because we kind of got this team on deck, but the next move is, maybe you might want to suggest. I heard somebody say, maybe the black woman is no need for her. I mean, maybe you can talk about they might need to be killed, but you don't have to kill them all. You might send them, like, traffic them down through the system we have, or you can kill them, and we have another system over here where we just want to just take their melanin, but I don't think they're doing justice here. They're not productive. The lie they like to tell, right? They're not very productive. So yeah, can you handle that for us? Oh, yes sir, I'll be right on that. Israel, do you really think any of that came from you? But you have been fooled over and over and over again. You got next. You see, the problem is you want now. And it's not your time. You want now, it's not your time. And you don't have any faith. You don't even believe you are more than this body that you reside in. You don't believe that you are about to be elevated and you are about to make a shift. This body is rubble. Superpowers you have heard? Well, yes, an incorruptible body. But you're afraid that you're going to miss something on an earth that is dying and it's trying to, it's going through a renewal phase. You have heard fairy tales and dreams about heaven, and you're floating in the sky and laying on clouds, and the heaven is here, just like your hell was here. But you want now. You want hell on earth instead of heaven on earth. So you have at it. Because that rulership power, well, it's on its way out. So you can't have your cake and eat it too. So I suggest you choose wisely. And, the group that's listening to me, if you hear of these groups, beware. Israelite men, if you're awake and you're listening and you hear, beware. They're trying to get you into a contract like they did your forefathers with the Moabite women. But this time, that contract is your ever-loving, lasting soul to be damned forever. I'm not saying that because I am an Israelite woman. I'm saying that because you have been fooled time and time and time again. So, oh goodness, you were talking, I don't even know where to start. Oh, you're Cliff. It's nice to meet you too. Blacker the berry. Well, that's a saying that has been proven to be true. the sweeter the juice, they say. And I'm not just talking about that. I'm talking about the darker the skin, the richer the person. Uh, I have seen on social media women that look like their skin, and men. It looks like their skin is so freaking. Have you ever seen a black cherry? Their skin looks like it's so dark. I call them, every time I see them, I call them, like, not to be funny, like night walkers. It is beautiful. That melanin there is probably priceless because it's so dark and beautiful. For real, not even being funny. Summer fun, hi, long time. I'm old school. Blacker the better. Bring her to me, Lord. Lord have mercy. That's funny. So, okay. Yeah, I talked about the moon. I talked about demons. I got on the Israelite men. I don't know. I started with the there's no moon tonight, and so I'm gonna end it with that. But yeah, I just want people to be wise in their decisions at this time that they're making. Whether, I mean, like I said, even a thief on the cross had the opportunity to change his life. And there are people who are in the depths of crime. Just, you are at a time, and I know it's hard for people to believe. You're in a time that's going to change your eternity. And there are tricks and snares, traps being set for you, and you're doing things and you're hurting people, and some people are young, so some people, they might think that some of the things that they are doing, it's funny, and and just like that man tonight, he wouldn't even look up. People don't even want to look up. Just like that movie they had come out about that meteor coming to Earth, and people would not look up. And when that man wouldn't even look up, I was like, I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. Are these people? You're in a time that if you can't hear people's words, and that's why I say I don't have no animosity towards nobody. I just don't. I don't have any hate towards anybody. I just want to get myself right, because I know this world is it's changing. Right now, you're witnessing the morphing of its surface by the plates within the earth, the tectonic plates, I think it's called, shifting and changing, and the poles changing, because it just pisses me off that we learned the Bible how we learned it, and this is the new heaven, and it's making room for everything that's going to be coming new. So it boggles my mind how they know, the elite know, for they have read all the text, all the ancient scrolls, that the Most High already knows that they have dug holes that they're going to run to hide in. And they've set up these systems with the you know, AI to put their consciousness in, because they think they're going to make it to another reset. I know the book for us ends at Revelations, and I know that I think every reset happened every 5,000 years. Don't quote me on this, but every 5,000 years, the earth has reset. The only thing that I can think to why they would think that they have a chance after what everyone who's going to experience what is to come with the war, with the nuke, and with planet Nibiru coming into our atmosphere, greatly affecting the change. In Revelations, it talks about after, you know, they're putting on this show for you guys right now with the BRICS in China and Russia, you know, collabing, Africa, they're coming into disagreements. That's all part of the act. Pretty soon, they're going to march across the for Armageddon. What is the river that the Euphrates? They're going to, and well, okay, so there's two different things. Wormwood is getting ready to come. Wormwood is what breaks off and hits the water, which turns all the water into blood, which that's happening, but it also turns the water to be, you can't drink it, right? But yeah, you're right. But Nibiru is called the destroyer in the Bible. And I always thought, and I'm going to put online, because, you know, when we're learning stuff, you got to be a bigger person if you made a mistake in saying something that you learned. I always thought Nibiru and Wormwood was one and the same planet, but it's not. But it's called the destroyer also in the Bible, Nibiru. And so they're going to march across the Euphrates that has already, I mean, all of this is written in the Bible, and it has come to pass. The Euphrates River is dogged up. It's almost completely dried up, almost. But see, they're going to march across the path. That makes the path for them, all these nations that right now, the United States looking like the, you know, the harlot that she is, the harlot that sat on that beast. She's looking like that harlot, right? They're against her. But they're, with all the plots, oh, the aliens and all this, we're going to have to come together. Independence Day, that great fight. Remember that fight? Where did it happen at? If y'all remember that movie, in Independence Day. Where was it? Was it in the city when they were like, oh, we're going to come together. All nations, we need to come together. We need to drop the war. We need to come on, let's put that movie together. We need to drop the war. We need to stand as one. We are united. We are independent. This is our Independence Day for one and all. But where was the war? Area 51. Where's Area 51? Where is, what does it look like, Area 51? You see, in the Bible, the war is going to be held across, they're going to tramp across that ground that was wet at one time, it's going to dry up to a desert. Area 51 looks like a desert, right? It is a desert. It is in the desert, all right? The war of Armageddon is going to happen in a desert region too, right? After that river Euphrates has dried up, it's going to make a path. You know, one time these continents were together. They could move. They could walk. It's going to make a path for these nations to walk because they're going to be united. It is our Independence Day. All nations are together. We're going to fight the enemy from the sky, which will be Yahweh Shai and his army. They told you whether you want to believe Independence Day and it's going to be aliens, which they want you to believe because they want you to be deceived. But if it's not, if that war does not start with all of those nations coming together, going across that Euphrates, there are clues to help you understand and help you know how not to be deceived, to know what is a demon, what is Yahweh Shai and his angels. There are scriptures. These things are going to come to pass, you know. And it's a great deception coming. It's a great deception. Texas, Nevada, Arizona, yeah. Oh, are you talking about the deserts? Yes. This war that they emulated on Independence Day is basically telling you, we know that this is going to be a desert region. We know that the Euphrates River is to dry up. They're telling you things that they know. They know. They gave you the description of Yahweh Shai's craft breaking our atmosphere in Independence Day, giving you the wheels within the wheels that Ezekiel told you about. Okay? So, I mean, it says even the elect will be fooled. So, I hope that I'm a elect, and I hope that I don't get fooled, right? Because there's going to be so much stuff that even the elect will be fooled, if possible. If possible. That's why he's speeding up the time. And just on that note, I'm going to get out of here. I don't know if you guys heard that they want to change the calendar once again. But yeah, it's a lot going on. But I was going to say something about them. I got off track. I was going to say something, gosh. Revelations. I was going to tell you guys about Revelations, and I'll go. The only reason that they think that they're going to have a chance to make it, and that's why they're trying to collect as many souls as they can in these soul traps, which is AI, is because after that war, after they cross the Euphrates, they have this Armageddon, this war. Just like these angels that are going to be these fallen angels that are going to be released from the Euphrates to cause havoc on the world. That's why I said things are going to come on this. Oh, but anyway, they're going to have the Armageddon war. Once that war ends, guys, just like those angels were bound in darkness and beneath the Euphrates River, Satan is going to be bound. Yahweh Shai is going to have Satan bound for millennia, 1,000 years. That's just one day for the Most High, because he's an infinite being. That's going to be one day for you as well once you get your everlasting body, because you are going to be everlasting. Time is an illusion. So you're going to be everlasting. So a day, could you imagine a day? Got to be more careful. 1,000 years. Okay? So Yahushua is going to reign, and the Most High God is going to reign. He's going to be present on this planet, but he got to set it on fire, burn, because he can't have his presence here with darkness that has just gone haywire, and he can't flood it out. That's got to burn. Okay, he's coming down. That was that ship in Independence, that big mothership. God, well, some of you guys know him as God. Yahushua, the Son, and the Father are coming down. The Father is going to reign here. We know him as the Most High God for 1,000 years, one day. And it'll be one day to you too, because you'll have your everlasting. And that is the first. That is, okay, let me say this. You want to make it out the first time, but there's going to be, you've heard in the Bible, the second judgment, okay? Or you don't want to, not the second judgment, the second death. You don't want the second death, because that's the everlasting death, okay? So all that war is going to happen. They're going to have the Most High, you hear it as the Crystal City. Some people talk about. Some people know it, but they know it in different ways. They explain it in different ways. But they're talking about the New Jerusalem that will come down. That'll be a city, and then there'll be other areas around that city on this earth. While Jesus, Yahushua, you know him as Jesus, our God, which is that those are titles. The Most High will reign. But this is the thing. Some Gentiles, and I know some people, they don't talk about this much. There's a rulership here now, and we know them as Edomites, as their correct name, biblical name. White never existed. We are all nations of people, so we know them as white folks, if you will, or Gentiles. You know, it's a whole breakdown to that, and I'm not going to get into that. I'm just making it basic to keep it moving. But Edomites, they're in rulership right now. They got all the money, all the land. They are the families that you know, those ruling class. Their time of rulership is up. Everybody, every nation on this planet has had a time to rule. Us, our nation known as Israelites, we have ruled, we have acted stupid, we hard-headed. We are a nation of hard-headed people. That's why we have gotten in trouble, and we have gone through these curses. But our time is next. And it's hard for people to fathom that we are everlasting beings. And I know, because you think I'm here, I'm in a real world. I know that it seems hard to fathom. The people who have, how can I say it, kept the good fight, okay? Your Israelites are going to go into that 1,000 reign millennia. Now, there are going to be other nations of people, like your Japanese, some Africans. Because see, they think black people, we're Africans just because of our skin, but we're not. We are Israel. So Africans, Moabites, Gentiles, Edomites, that understand and follow the rules and the statutes of the Most High. They are going to go into that kingdom too. Okay, because they're gonna be like, hold up on it. No, somebody like y'all, they're gonna wake up to realize what I say. Right now, we're really all slaves, but we are under curses because we hard-headed folk. Okay? You know how you have hard-headed children? So, some children are just stubborn. That's been us. But we've learned. Trust me. I'm saying, no, I don't know about everybody, but I learned my lesson from being hard-headed. I don't want to be hard-headed no more. I have learned, Father. I won't do it again because you are your ancestors, okay? You have that memory in you. I don't want, this has been hell, okay? So this will be the last captivity ever, okay? And especially for Israel. Israel will never go into be captive anymore. And so, uh, and the people, the other nations that worship the Most High and know for the, you know, the truth about what's going on, they will go into this new kingdom, right? And so they're going to help build up this new kingdom, establish this new land. I'm not talking about this Emerald City that's coming down, New Jerusalem that's coming down. That's already built, because what he said, I go to prepare a place for you, and in my Father's house there are many mansions. I'm not touching on that because I don't know what that even looked like. I can't even fathom what that city looks like, because that was built in the upper room, okay? That was built in the third heavens. It's going to descend to this realm, okay? There's realms here. But here on this earth, once fire's put out and it's new, you got fresh certain waters is popping up. Fresh waters, renewed lands that have never been seen before. Those other nations are going to build, they're going to have their own, like it was, their own communities. I have never had a problem with people uplifting their own people. My problem is oppressing other people to the degree of degradation, you know? And not allowing a people to thrive and be them who they can be, who they should be, and healthy. You know, that's my problem with people and whatever skin they possess, because my people, we have wicked people within our nations, and we know this within other nations. So they're going to have their own community, you know, like Chinatown, whatever town, whatever, but they're all gonna, instead of Christmas, you're gonna celebrate certain feast days, and you have to come to that area wherever the city that has come from the heavens, what they call New Jerusalem. All those nations are going to come from their lands. They're going to have their own lands. You know, we talked about no segregation, but actually there's going to be segregation because everybody's going to live in their own lands, right? It's just, that's what it says. And I'm not trying to be racist. I can't be racist. So I'm not trying to be biased when I say this. I'm just trying to tell you how it's read in the Bible. These people are going to have their own lands and be happy and thrive with their families. And the devil is going to be bound for that 1,000 years. Satan, his spirit, that entity, however the angels and imps that he has, they're going to be bound. But this is the kicker. And this is why I say they think they have a chance, because we only know of Revelations here right now, but there's other books that are being written. You're probably going to be the next saga to what entities learn about your journey, your experience here. Who knows? But Satan is going to be released after that 1,000-year millennia, and he's going to tempt. I mean, I can't. When I hear about that, these nations that made it through all, I mean, just even nations. Remember, there are what they call trailer trash, what they call, would consider, I'm not being disrespectful, white people. They got people that are in the ghettos, the inner cities. They call them ghettos. Lower people in a lower statute in life. Imagine them people believing and making it into the New Jerusalem, the new heaven on earth, and reign for 1,000 years, or walk and live and flourish in peace and harmony, in abundance for 1,000 years in an everlasting body. For you see, you will be truly your soul. But your soul, you won't be a spirit like these spirits that are soul, that don't have a vessel. You will truly be a soul, but a vessel that covers it, that's incorruptible. It can never, rot. Nothing can never happen to it. You will truly be who you were meant to be. There will be these nations that come and live that lifestyle for 1,000 years. And when Satan is released, he will corrupt and convince nations to go up and fight against the Most High. That has to be, let me say this here. And the Most High knows this, and Yahushua knows this, but he still is going to allow you, because you still have the faith. Those nations still have the faith of a mustard seed to get them into the promised land, which is this earth made new. I mean, all the fruits and vegetables and shopping, and you can travel to other dimensions. I mean, you balling for real. Partying with it. It's going to be a party, y'all. It's going to be a wedding. I'm just going to have to let you know. You better get your white gear ready. There's a hate that still would be in some people. I don't know which nations, who it is going to be, but remember, there's other nations, like I said, the Moabites, the Chinese, the Japanese, the Africans. All these nations you see here on this earth now, you're going to have some of them in the new kingdom. But there's going to be a hate for Israel still. Black, aka formerly known as, otherwise known as black folks. There's still going to be a deep-seated hate, so deep that they might have thought that they suppressed in their genes. You see, because you've been here before. You have a lot of memory stored up we just can't remember. And I know you probably don't want to hear that's another topic for another day. And it's there. And they've lived this abundant life. And Satan, once he's released, is going to convince these nations of people to rise up against Yahushua and the Israelites, and to fight, to take dominancy over the lands once again. But that's what they don't understand. What we are in, what we are going through, no justice, no peace, we will never go through again. And they have the opportunity to never go through their hell, living in trailer parks and living in the slums. And I'm not talking about the elite white people, the elite Chinese people. I'm talking about the people that have lived in poverty too. Now they have riches, abundance. But that there's something that's going to be there that they're going to be persuaded by the spirit of Satan to come against Yahushua and the Israelites once again. And for one last battle. And after that last battle, that is where because see, they have received an everlasting body. And so once you received a soul with a body that's incorruptible, you can't destroy it, right? And I know people say, well, this is hell on, we're in hell now, it's a mindset. But from what the scripture says, the Most High has a place for these souls that they will be tormented for eternity. And that only takes place after um, the 1,000-year millennial reign. God. But even some black folk, Israelites will make it right before they make it to the kingdom and act the fool and don't make it over. Just like you didn't have some Israelites make it over into the promised land when Moses led them out. To be that close and let it slip through your hands, I pray I'm not in none of those groups. None of them. None of them. For those souls that make it into that everlasting life with that body, they are going to be placed into, I don't know what it will look like, what it will be, but it will be torment. And it will be a hell for them. I'm not saying somebody's going to be walking around with a pitchfork, but that soul cannot die. That's why I say we've come over and over again reincarnated, because there's nothing new under the sun, meaning there's no new souls here. There's only old souls that have come back here. Okay? And so once that happens, I can't tell you the next, and I don't think anyone can, and I don't know what the Vatican has, the information they have, but all we've been left with is Revelations. And that last battle when Satan will be locked down, he'll rise up, the people that have in different nations that still have a deep-seated hate, which is in their DNA, it's in their Akashic records, if some of you believe in that terminology. But it is I forget it's what science calls that gene, but it's all of the information from the lifetimes that you have come back here, but you've forgotten. And we call them your ancestors, but actually it's you that have come back again. Okay, so yeah, so maybe they're writing about you right now, you targeted individuals. Maybe after that last war, and people are judged for because the dead hasn't, the dead that have died now and did not, because did not rise when he came back and changed certain people into a twinkling of an eye, because those are going to be fighters, soldiers, okay? They're going to still be dead for that 1,000-year millennium. They're going to rise to their fate as well. But we don't know after that what the saga will be. And wouldn't it be interesting that it'll be you that other galaxies and other entities will learn about and marvel at how you conquered these entities here. They probably shake in their boots if you were to visit their planet, right? All right, guys, I am out of here, and much, much love.